What's up, guys, and welcome back for another EVE Online video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about Procure Mercoxit mining, and in terms of flexing your account with minimal game time on a single character with a single ship, right? This is probably the highest value that you can do in mining across the board, regardless of whether it be bonus pop moon or, ice or whatever. Like, if you take a single ship, and this is a mining barge, not even an exhumer, and we're coupling it with the equipment for mining for Mercoxis, you're going to average about 1,000,000 ISK per minute when you're doing this. And if you are looking to actually do a single activity that requires very little time investment to Plex yourself, well, I'm using the basis of the current market price for Plex, which is roughly 2.3 billion for a month, and then I'm going to divide that across 28 days, which is the minimum amount of days. So obviously, if it's a month that's like 30 days or whatever, you have a little bit more leniency. So you're roughly looking at 85 million ISK that needs to be earned per day for 28 days in order to flex an account. And this is possible with multiple activities, whether it be like ratting, exploration, or big fleet mining or whatever. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to demonstrate how you can get your 85 million with like an hour and a half of mining, right? And actually you can go even higher than that, because the way Mercoxis works, it appears in ore anomalies in nullsec. And for instance, this is a ore anomaly. When we get these two Mercoxis rocks, we can just go like to the next one and get those. You don't have to actually clear this entire anom to get more Mercoxis. What I usually do is in a single day, I'll go to every ore anomaly in the system and grab every bit of Mercoxis, all the way from, I'll do the medium, the large, the enormous, the colossal, and I'll do all those. And then that gives me roughly and it's all in refined value too. Like, you're not going to take like the actual Mercoxis raw ore or compressed ore value, because you're going to be actually turning it into morphite, which I'll show in this video as well. That's where the value is. Another benefit of Mercoxis or morphite export is morphite is the lowest weight material of everything with the highest value. It's one of the highest actually ISK per M3 value in the game. And so what you'll be doing is you'll be basically going throughout your system every day, get all of the Mercoxis, and you'll be basically just checking those anoms. I think it's roughly like every 2 to 3 days, the Mercoxis in each anom will actually replenish itself. So you can force it by actually mining out the entire anom and then waiting the allotted time, or you can just mine the Mercoxis and wait a few days and grab it. Normally, what I do is I kind of look at multiple systems, maybe 2 or 3 different systems, and then one day I'll clear all the Mercoxis for one, and then maybe the next day I'll go to the next system and get all of it. Or you can just do it all in one day, and you'll get basically enough IS to cover you for like 5 days, and then when everything respawns, you do it again. But you can make a killing. You can actually make enough IS to plex yourself and have even more money over the top for other things that you might be interested in as far as assets and everything goes. And since morphite is so low in weight or in volume, it takes, if you're using like an alliance freighting service to export things back to JITA, those are usually going to be based on M3. So the higher M3 your freighter load is, the more you're going to pay. So Mercoxis is great for actually lining freighter loads. And it's also light enough that you can put it in necessarily a crane or a blockade runner and actually bring it out of Null yourself without actually paying a whole lot of anything. With the Procure, we have a 16,000 cubic meter ore hold. This is going to take you, right now, my yield for this bit, which is max bit, I have, Mining Barge 5 and all the skills for Mercoxis and all that. So I'm going to be getting roughly 1562 cubic meters every 180 seconds. Now you double that. That's going to be like 31, or roughly 3,100 cubic meter every 3 minutes. And that's going to equate to roughly a little over a mil per minute for what you're going to be doing here. What I'll do is I'll fill up this Procurer, and then we will fly back to station, and I'll show you the comparative values for the Mercoxis itself, and then I'll show you what it's actually worth in Warfight and kind of give you more perspective on why it's such a great commodity. The fit I'm running on this Procurer, the entire fit in itself is 136 million. So we'll look at it right here. This is everything we're running. You can actually bring this down even more by not actually having a whole lot of Mercoxit mining crystals. I keep 35 loaded in the cargo hold just to like have spares, but you're not going to run through these too awful much. And as you can see, everything else is relatively cheap. At 136 million, you go out for one day and clear your system of Morphite or Mercoxis. It's going to pay for itself. After a few days of, or even like a week of Mercoxis mining, you're going to have paid this ship off exponentially, which is great. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead. It does take a long time, obviously. Like the cycle time for Mercoxis is really really slow. Other things that I actually recommend you do is implant wise. Since we're going to be, all the value is in Morphite, we're going to be refining it. That's where the value is. I recommend a bean counter reprocessing RX804 implant. It's going to give you a 4% reprocessing bonus, which is what will get more Morphite out of everything. And then a high wall mining MX1005. This actually gives us more Merc on each cycle. We're going to take care of these rats, and then when we fill up this Procurer, then we are going to head back to station and show you kind of how everything goes. I'm also packing Vespas and Hornets in here. This allows me to better deal with battleships. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually use these Vespas to take down these smaller ships, and then they'll just kind of hang out on that battleship. We got this cycle and probably one more cycle or so, and then we'll be filled up, and then we'll be ready to go on to the next part of the video. All right, we are back in station with a full load of Mercoxis. For appraisal, GETA value for the raw on this 17.2, and as you can see, this this weighs exactly 16,000 cubic meters. You're never gonna export it this way. This took us roughly like 14-ish minutes or so to mine. When you reprocess 400 units of Merc, you're gonna get roughly, depending on skills and also the rig inside the station, all stuff like that. And I've got 397 units of Morphite, and as you can see, it's worth about 14.2 million. So it comes out to being about a little around a million per minute on this mining. And the one important thing to note here is the total volume. This weighs less than 4 cubic meters, right? And so now let's look at things this way. Let's say each 197 basically counts as a single trip out to fill up the Procurer. So let's say you go out and you fill up your Procurer 5 times and you reprocess. You're gonna be looking at 71 million, and it's only gonna weigh 19.8 cubic meter. So you could actually just shoot for like somewhere in the neighborhood of like 6 full Procurer loads, and that's going to be 85.7 million buy value. It's going to weigh 23, and that's all you have to make a day for 28 days to plex yourself. And that 23, you could fit that in, a interceptor or any like small frigate. You could fly it out of Null yourself. You could also just like take this and I think if you like mine an entire system out of Morphite, you're probably going to be doing like somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 12 loads. So there's a potentially close to 200, probably I would say 200 to 250 million in refined value, which is still going to weigh less than 50 cubic meters to export. So as you can see, Morphite being an export is one of the highest valued in mining. And if you're wanting to just like flex yourself with a single account with very little assets and very little time, if you don't have a lot of time to play, getting into Mercoxis mining is by far my highest recommendation. So I'll put the fit for this ship in the description. All you have to do is just take that fit into the fit window, import from clipboard, and then you can add all the skills and buy the skills that you need to get that kind of going. But yeah, I'm still a really big fan of Mercoxis mining. It is time consuming, but it's time well spent. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.